since the Missouri game?
Well, such a long break, 6 days. No, I think
Maybe a month.
we needed time. So yeah, when things aren't going great, sometimes you want to turn it around quick, and sometimes you want to try to improve some things that you're not doing very well. And I'd say in our case, I think the latter is probably better for us.
And I don't know how it works, but have you been pleased with the response in practice since, or being around the guys, or I mean, have you noticed, I don't know, anything?
Yeah. Well, I think attitudes are good and trying hard, and we had a really good day yesterday, and you know, hopefully we'll do some things, obviously a lot better than what we did for 25 minutes on Sunday, because that was awful. But you know, the guys didn't lay down, they didn't quit, fought back, cut it to 2, and had some things not go right. You know, doing that still cut it to 2. So by no means is that a moral victory by any stretch, but it was at least something that we can draw from that was positive on that particular day.
Bill, I think you guys are 300 in like free throw rate and 300-ish in 3-point rate. Do you think those issues are kind of correlated, or are they completely separate?
No, they're separate. You would think if you shot a ton of threes, you'd probably get fouled less.
Yeah.
We're not shooting many threes, and we're getting fouled less. So a lot of it, you know, we haven't thrown inside as much, which unfortunately, the way the game used to be, that's how you got to the free throw line, by throwing it inside. Now you get to the free throw line by driving it. And we don't have guys, obviously, that drive the ball downhill as well as some others that we'll play against. But that's something we talk about every day, and it's obviously a concern, the discrepancy in the number of free throws that we shoot compared to our opponents. Now, with that being said, you could maybe make a case from time to time, well, we didn't get a good whistle that game.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the reason why we're shooting less whistle. The whistle has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with the things that people consider fouls and how you get to the free throw line today. It hasn't been as conducive to us getting there, in large part because we haven't taken advantage of the way the whistle is going to be, which is drive it. And we don't have personnel to maybe drive it as well as some other teams, but that's still, the discrepancy is still way too much. We've got to, at Kansas and a high level where you're playing a great schedule, but you're still playing bye games within that schedule, and early on, you know, you would think if it's not good, it's 50-50. And right now it's more like, you know, 35-65. And if I'm not mistaken, so we've got to be better in that area.
And is it any part like spacing concerns kind of compounded in there with those things?
Well, spacing concerns are always an issue whenever you run offense. How do we space the floor with certain personnel in the game when you go under every ball screen and you do different things? So it's more to it than just that, but I do think that's a part of it.
I think this game is the Hoops for ALS game. What do you think about getting to benefit and support that cost?
Well, I think that we've all been touched by cancer in some way, shape, or form. Directly, indirectly, you know, family, friends. ALS, maybe not as much, but we all know somebody that has that suffered with this, and the families that have suffered going along with it, that, and you know, it's dreadful, and we all know that. So you know, hopefully calling attention through this game will be a positive thing, and I know that you know, we've had friends that have suffered and endured, and you know, going back to the reason why it was called Lou Gehrig's disease is because of actual, you know, the most durable, maybe baseball player that's ever lived. and it took him. You know, yeah, we do a lot of different things, as a lot of people do, for a lot of different causes to bring awareness, but this is certainly a big one for us to do.
And then NC State looks different from last year's team, but they've played some good teams close so far. Just what stands out to you about them at this point?
Well, they started out 5-0, and then I think Purdue got them in their first loss, and that was a good basketball game, you know, down to the wire. Very athletic, and they play a lot like Missouri as far as switch to deny and pressing. And although Missouri didn't press, they pressured. And I think that NC State may press a little bit more than Missouri did against us, but certainly they're going to pressure. And can we handle that? Can we get open one pass away? And can we play behind their initial pressure? Was something we didn't do very well at all on Sunday.
A lot of talk Sunday about identity for this team. I wonder, when you put it together, what did you think was the one or two top identity things that this team would be?
Man, I don't know that, putting it together, I don't know that there would be, you know, can we shoot it well enough? Are we skilled enough? Are we athletic enough to become good defensively? All those things. But when you put it together, you're putting together potential rather than what you know to be a fact. And you know, you can ask Fitz this: you recruit a guy because, you know, he can throw it 90 plus and paint the corners or whatever in a reserve role. Well, you recruit to that, but still, yet you got to actually do it against guys that, you know, are different type hitters and that kind of stuff at that moment to really know what you have. So I would say recruiting to an identity, I don't know that we did that as much as recruiting the pieces that we hope that when we put it all together, we would be able to be, you know, a great defensive team, a great defensive rebounding team, a toughness team, a 50-50 ball team, how do you steal extra possessions type team. And I don't think that we've developed that yet. So.
Do you have an idea which one of those might be most likely, now that you have the pieces together?
Well, in my opinion, we always tell them that we need to develop one with the hope that it better be the one that I think is the most important. But the biggest thing to me is we've won a lot of games here when we played poorly, a lot. So you don't have to play great. You just got to make sure the other team doesn't. And I think we've allowed teams to be too comfortable, at least the last week. It went that way the other games, but the last week I would say that.
So Coach, obviously you got, 2 more games before conference. Is there anything that you stress differently with these last 2 going into conference play? Is there anything that you tell the team differently or you want them to do differently or anything like that as conference approaches here pretty soon?
I would prefer that they make all their shots and get every defensive rebound. I would prefer that. Take care of the ball. You know, we were averaging 9 turnovers a game before that performance on Sunday, which was like a very low number for us, because if you studied us historically, we've always been a relatively high turnover team because we try to have 5 guys handle it, as opposed to a lot of teams keeping it in 3 guys' hands, which are their best ball handlers and passers. So there's reasons why that is, but the bottom line is what I would probably tell them, and what we have told them is, it's not close to being where we want it to be, but it's not near as bad as the way you feel it is. And we need to, we got time, we got 3 weeks before conference play starts, that we need to get a lot better in certain things, but certainly to get a little bit better in what we already know what we should be doing. To the point earlier, which was a great basketball question, I thought, can we accomplish some of that stuff by spacing? Can we accomplish some of that stuff by what we've been working on, but we're just not good at it yet? So some of those things, our roster will come around as they get more comfortable. But like I've told them, until you get comfortable, you're going to be a thinker. And if you're a thinker, you can't play. You know, I mean, let's just call it like it is. So how do we become them to be reactionary as opposed to stopping and thinking? Those are things that I know that we're emphasizing, but the only way you can really probably accomplish it is through repetition. And so we just got to keep grinding. We got to keep grinding. And the other thing is this, you know, to get off on a little bit of a dissertation here. The way that it feels in basketball is way different than the reality of how it feels in football. Let's just understand this. Our season is long. Football season is long, but what happens the first 2 weeks in football affects the season. What happens the first month of the season in basketball doesn't have anything to do with our chances in March. Nothing. Now, do you always want to play well and have that moment? Absolutely. And nobody likes dealing with when you don't do well. But the reality of it is I don't know that I've ever had a team that was really good for 4 or 5 months. I think everybody goes through this. Now, granted, you know, we go to the Final Four in 2018 and we lose 3 games at home. Now, that can still happen, but I don't think anybody predicted we'd be a Final Four team in 18 after losing to Davidson and Arizona State back-to-back in December. But it's not the end of the earth, but it is a great eye-opener saying, hey, we better, that was somebody punching us in the mouth to wake us up. So hopefully we'll use it as a way to benefit from it as opposed to caving from it. And I don't think that'll be the case.
To go back to your point earlier about guys attacking the rim, do you feel like AJ's driving the ball enough? Do you feel like he's settling too much?
I don't think he's doing either enough. Yeah, he's got to attack the rim. I mean, he's one of the guys that to Matt's question, the point is, well, how are you going to shoot free throw? Well, we got AJ that can attack the, you know, one of those type deals. AJ averaged 4 free throws a game for the entire season last year at Wisconsin, a little over 4, and this year, you know, he's shooting what, 1.5 a game. So it's things like that. I don't think creating spacing opportunities that allow him to do more of that type of stuff too. But he needs to be more aggressive, yes.
And then with Shaq, how are things trending with him?
He's practiced last 2 days, looked good. So I don't know what his availability will be Saturday yet, but I'm hopeful that he could be available to us. But still, putting a guy out there that hadn't played basically in 8 weeks against a really good team like North Carolina State, I don't know if that's the direction that we positively want to go, but he's trending in a way that hopefully he's going to be with us and be full speed real soon.
And when you do play like 3 games in 3 weeks or so, how do you balance that, trying to get him game minutes, but also knowing that?
I'm not worried about that with him.
Yeah.
If right now, we just want to get him practice minutes. To me, having him healthy for, 5 days in a row or 9 out of 10 days where he doesn't get sore is more important than actually getting him into a game. And trust me, we're not going to play him just to get him in a game right now.
How did Hunter play during the 2 games on the road, and is he being more of a leader this year, or what?
I thought Hunter was unbelievable at Missouri. Verbally, I thought he's great. He as good as anybody we had from a leadership and a verbal standpoint. And I actually thought he did some good things, but Hunter hadn't played the way that he's capable of playing. But a lot of that is on us and not just all on him too. So I didn't think the first of the 2 games against Creighton, I didn't think he planted himself in the game to actually be a near as much of a presence. But I also think there were some things that happened during the game that forced that to be the case. Against Missouri, I thought he was better. Still didn't really score the ball like he's capable of scoring the ball. But what did he get, 18 or 17 or something like that? But He's demanding it more. At least he has in practice the last few days as well.
What do you think of playing the third team in the triangle?
I don't think from a scheduling standpoint, it's the brightest thing that anybody has done for their respective programs over time. So I'll blame that on our scheduling czar and not me. I'm joking. I actually think it's a great schedule, and I like it, but it's hard. And what people don't understand is the Creighton and Missouri games are really hard games to go along with the other games. So I'm amazed sometimes that when something happens during a season, early in the season, people will say, well, that team may not be as good. And you know, here you are looking at Houston, they got 3 losses already, and 2 of them on the last possession in overtime against 2 teams that can win a national championship, you know, and the other third is against a really good team that just went to the Final Four 2 years ago, so a national championship game. So those are the things that's kind of misleading with our schedule, but our schedule's been great, but NC State's gonna be a really hard game.
Do you remember the '86 game, and did you ever meet Valvano?
I actually did meet him, but I didn't know him. But I did meet him in the '86 game. If I'm not mistaken, we had our own clock keeper on the was that Michigan State or the
That one was Michigan.
that was Michigan State. So the '86 game was a good game. It was in was that in Kemper?
Yes.
It was in Kemper in the round of 16 or 32. Round of 8 or 32.
That was a Sweet 16.
That was a Sweet 16 game.
think.
And then we played Michigan State in the Elite 8 game, or vice versa, whichever one it was. Is that right? You asked the question. So you should know the answer before you ask the question. But to answer your question, I don't remember specifically, but I remember, you know, who we played against and all that stuff. It was a big game. Big game. They were really talented.
Bill, anything jump out to you about personnel in the Wolfpack? They take care of the ball a lot like we do, and they have a point guard that has 1 assisted turnover numbers.
Yeah, he's good too, and you know, he started last year for him on the Final Four team. What jumps out to me is they can get their own shot, and they're very, very quick and athletic. I mean, they got a good looking roster, and I'll be honest with you too. I thought Missouri's had a great looking roster. I thought their personnel was tall, long, athletic. I thought they had a good roster too. And this team reminds me a lot of Mizzou.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.